All right, everybody. Round two. We're back again. How's my sound? How do I sound now? I'm going to listen to myself as well. Oh my God. It's so bad. What is going on? Okay, I'm going to take this mic off. Okay, I just took off my main microphone. So how do I sound now? If I still sound crazy, it's StreamYard. Oh my God, it's my mic. So how do I sound now? If I still sound crazy, it's StreamYard. Oh no. So how do I sound now? If I still sound crazy, it's StreamYard. Oh my God, that means my microphone is dead. No, my microphone is dead, y'all. Well, you know what? That's all right. We're just going to keep going. And here's what I'm going to do. Let me pull you a little closer to me. Let's see here. I cannot believe this. Unbelievable. My mic died. Well, rest in peace to the Yeti, the Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti has served us now probably for like 3 or 4 years. The Blue Yeti. It's normal with an echo. That's because I had my other phone or my phone playing the video. There should be no echo now. Is there an echo now? Yeah, the mic is dead. Rest in peace to my microphone. How very sad. But you know what? I've dropped her very many times. She's been kicked on accident. She's been moved. We've moved together. So she's really served us quite well over the years. So rest in peace to the Blue Yeti. You did good, girl. You did good. All right. So I will just do the rest of the show speaking through. I'm on my computer mic, so the quality may not be as good as you guys are used to. So I apologize for that, but hopefully you can hear me much better than that garbled, horrific echoing. All right, well, let's just keep going. I'm going to keep my voice up. Let me know if I sound too far back at any point. Let me pull you a little closer to me. All right. I know. Rest in peace, Blue Yeti. Oh, my poor Blue Yeti. Oh, I love her. She's so cute. All right, let's move on. Back to the show, guys. Welcome back. Welcome, everybody. I'm not going to replay Tucker's clip. We got Tuck. He's a mess. He had a mild demonic breakdown when Juan Williams tried to finish his sentence. So let me go ahead and play for you the other video clip that is from the Derek Chauvin trial. Now, while I'm getting this clip pulled up, I want to say this. No, I am not on Derek Chauvin's side. No, I do not want them to win. I don't. I do want to see justice served in some meaningful way. I really, really do. But like I told you guys, I don't know if it was a news break or some other show. We are not going to win this case with this kind of stuff. We're not. So in addition to it just being a don't do this in court type video, we're going to examine what happens to this firefighter on the stand under gentle questioning. Like the attorney was not even rough with her. He was quite gentle with her. So let me get this pulled up. Let me know if I'm still sounding okay.
There were.
All right. Perfect. All right. So this clip is about 10 minutes long, you guys, but there's a lot in it that I want you to see. Now, it has been condensed from a clip that was about 30 minutes long. Okay. So I say that to make sure that you guys know we are missing a lot of context. Okay. Now, the context didn't make a difference. Anytime the context made a difference, I left it in. But if I felt like there was something that really didn't make a difference, I took it out. So I do want you to know that. I don't want you to think you're seeing a straight cut from the trial. All right. So this is my edited version. I'm going to go ahead and play it. Pay very close attention. We're going to break this down. And remember, tonight's topic is narcissists love to talk over you and then get mad when you finish your sentence or when you finish. All right. So here we go. Let me know if you guys are still there.
What if there were? row of people yelling at you and telling you that you were doing it wrong?
I think a burning structure in a city where there are buildings and homes and people living on either side is much more concerning than 20 people trying to tell me to do something different.
Right. But you wouldn't be distracted by that at all?
No.
What if they started calling you names?
Like I said, I know my job, and I would be confident in doing my job, and there's nothing anybody could say that would distract me.
Okay. So what if they started to physically threaten you?
I'll repeat myself because I'm confident in my job and what I do and what needs to be done and my training, so I would continue to do that.
So let's assume there's a call and the police are on scene at the call, right? And they...
Sorry to interrupt. Are you talking about a medical call? We stage for different things.
Sure. Let's leave it as a medical call.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that the police had already called for medics?
It would also be reasonable to assume that if the patient was cuffed
I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say objection non-responsive.
The answer will be certain. Wait for the question and then answer the question that is asked.
It's a yes or no question, ma'am. Is it reasonable to assume that if a patient is having a medical emergency and the police are present, that they have called for EMS?
Your question is unclear because you don't know my job, so
Okay.
can't answer.
Sure. So let's take this scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
May 25th, 2020. You walk upon a scene, you see someone having a medical emergency, right? You did not call 911 to get the medics there, right?
Right.
Would it have been reasonable to assume that medics had already been called based on what you saw when you first arrived?
Yes.
So if you first walked on scene at 8:26:29, that was what we just saw.
Okay.
8:26:29.
Okay.
And paramedics had been called at 8:21. That's an abnormal response time based on your experience.
What time did you say I arrived?
8:26:29.
And the medics arrived at what time?
The medics were called at 8:21. Code 3.
I don't believe that.
But again, you have no frame of reference, right? I mean, you've not seen any police reports, you've not looked at the CADs, you've not heard the 911 calls, you didn't listen to dispatch that night, did you?
That night? No, not that night.
Okay.
But that's totally abnormal.
All right.
And fire would have been added to that call because we go to calls like that all the time.
Right. And I believe you had a conversation with the BCA agents shortly after this incident, and you described what you observed as far as the paramedics doing was what's called a load and go, right?
Correct.
And that is essentially, as I understand it, paramedics arrive, something is amiss at the scene, so we put them into the ambulance and we move the ambulance to another
A safe location to
Right.
address the needs.
And so, in your mind, as a paramedic with the experience that you
EMT.
have, oh, I'm sorry, as an EMT, I apologize, but as an EMT, you've done load and goes before,
We've done load and goes, yeah.
right? And so, the reason that the medics did not commence, at least as far as you understood, commence resuscitative efforts for Mr. Floyd was because they were doing a load and go, get him away.
Correct.
Your, again, personal experience, on that day, the paramedics drove off, and then at some other point, a couple minutes later, is when the fire truck arrives, right?
Right, and that's how I knew there was something wrong when requesting medical assistance.
Okay, because the fire department showed up at Cup Foods, and the ambulance had already left and gone to another location.
No, more because the fire whether it's 17s or a different station, would have been able to respond to that call much sooner than medics were.
All right. Now I'm going to just kind of talk to you a little bit about your testimony about May 25th of 2020. You were out for a walk because it was your day off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Sorry. You're out for a walk, and you're walking you're walking westbound on 38th Street, and you see the lights, and you said it's not uncommon to see lights there.
In my neighborhood, not on that corner, but in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Or in the city.
Right. Okay. Would you describe other people's demeanors as upset or angry?
I don't know if you've seen anybody be killed, but it's upsetting.
The answer is
Yes, I was just going to object, Your Honor.
as argumentative, and you can proceed.
I'm going to just ask you to answer my questions as I ask them to you, okay? You also talked about how when you first approached, you saw the complete and total body weight of all three officers on Mr. Floyd.
I never said all three officers. Their body weight was on him. The two in the back, their full body weight was seeming to be on him, but that's not something that would kill.
All right. And but you testified that their
Okay, yes.
body weight.
Yes,
my
their body
question
weight, yes.
was on.
Just answer his questions if you would.
So just to be clear, for the record is clear, you testified.
Yes.
Let me finish my question.
Finish your question.
You testified that when you first arrived, you observed the weight of all three officers on Mr. Floyd. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, in terms of your the statement that you gave, you were interviewed by Agents Matthew Lund, and Agent James Ryerson. Do you recall those names?
No.
Do you dispute me if I'm telling? Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to review the transcript of your statement?
I don't want to.
Okay. Would you dispute me if I told you that you told the agents it was a heavy crowd?
No, I guess not.
Could you describe Mr. Floyd as a small, slim man?
Overruled.
Yeah, it appeared to, with three grown men on top of somebody, it appeared that he was small and frail.
Okay.
But I know that's not to be
There's
true,
no
obviously.
question.
I was finishing my answer.
Please, court counsel remain. Witness remain. We're outside the hearing of the jury. Ms. Hanson, I'm advising you, do not argue with counsel, and specifically, do not argue with the court.
Is the camera though? Are the cameras on?
No, they are not. We are on the record.
Okay.
You will not argue with the court. You will not argue with counsel.
Mm-hmm.
They have the right to ask questions. Your job is to answer them.
I was finishing my answer.
I will determine when your answer is done.
Okay, well,
And so, do not argue with the court. Do not argue with counsel. Answer the questions. Do not volunteer information that is not requested. The attorneys for the state have redirect. They can ask you questions if they think that certain things were left out.
okay.
It is counsel's prerogative to ask you leading questions and for you to answer those and not volunteer additional information.
Okay.
Are we clear on this?
Okay.
Thank you. Come back to
Okay, you guys still there? Is my sound still good? If so, I'm going to go ahead and keep going. So we are going to actually look at this again. And I see in the chat that some of you...
Marla at 9:30.
Whoa, there we go. Pause. There we go. I don't think you guys right away see like what's wrong. So let's break this down and examine exactly what's wrong with this whole scenario and why I would even select this clip. So let me do a screen share and share over on this side. Boom. Yes. Okay. Perfect. All right. So first, let me just do a couple high level just statements. Even though the title of this show is Narcissists Love to Talk Over You and then Get Mad When You Finish, I'm not calling this woman a narcissist. I don't know enough about her to make that assessment, and I couldn't even if I wanted to. But all I'm isolating are her behaviors in this particular scenario. That's it. So, and that's taking into consideration, the high stress of the event, the public nature of this whole entire trial. So I don't doubt that there's a million different things like going through her head. But like I stated before, or maybe this was on the stream that got messed up, this is not how you act if you actually want to win a court case. Because the thing about it is, he wasn't being rough with her at all. And I wish it was a different case for us to use these two as an example, because he was actually the perfect example of how you just stay calm and let a narc hang themselves. Because when I watched this thing, I was thinking to myself first, wow, she's so attitudinal. Where's all the attitude coming from? Very defensive. Yes, like extremely defensive. And I can't understand it other than, okay, some people will say she's upset because she watched a man die and she could have helped and they weren't listening and they were being jerks. But I just cannot believe that her attorney wouldn't have coached her, because this attitude is not only here on the stand. I cannot believe her attorney didn't say, hey, what is it called? Can we pause, recess, time out? Can I talk to my client really quick? You need to chill. Because here's the issue, you guys, and here's why this clip, another one of the reasons this clip made it to this stream. She was trying to run the courtroom. She was trying to run the attorney. She was trying to run the judge. When the judge called for recess and he turned to her and started to address her, she cut the judge off and asked him the most bizarre question, which really leaves me feeling different inside. But the question that she asked him was, are the cameras still on? And he was like, what? She said, are the cameras still on? And he said, no, we're on record. So first of all, I can't even wrap my mind around that part. Are the cameras still on? What was that about? Did she not want people to see her getting reprimanded? Was it like a cut? Okay. So anyway, she interrupts the judge. Guys, this is not how you behave in court. You can't do that. You can't interrupt the judge. Talk back to the judge. You can't do that. She acted like this was her first rodeo. That's why I was kind of like, who's coaching her? Okay, I have so many thoughts. I can't get them all out right here. So we're just going to go through this really quick. And I'm going to challenge myself to be finished before midnight. Although I need to give myself 15 minutes because my other part of the show got messed up. So it's not like we started at 11. So I'll give myself to 12:15 to go through this whole thing really quick and kind of break down each behavior. Okay. So welcome to everybody in the chat. And again, just to reiterate, I am not on their side. I don't want to see him get off. I would like to see some form of justice take place. Yes, I would. However, based on the behavior of some of the witnesses I've seen so far, that outcome is certain to not happen, especially not when you have someone catching an attitude with the attorney, but he handled it so well and he knew what he was doing too. Well, we're going to talk about it all. All right. I'm afraid to move this damn thing, my old mic, because I'm afraid if I touch it, it's going to try to do things. I'm just going to yeet. Okay. Yep. And see, now things are bouncing on the screen. Okay. Hold on. For the love. See, I knew it. I knew I shouldn't have touched it. I knew it. That's okay though. Boom. We're just going to start it right back over. Yep. Okay. And then pull that back up. Perfect. And then Nope, 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 wrong one. This one's the one I want. There we go. Lovely. All right, welcome you guys. Yeah, I see a comment. It says, imagine how she acts with the public and her colleagues. And when I was reading comments under this video where I got this from, people were like, if she really is a firefighter, I'm so ashamed. Like, she does not represent, the practice, the profession. And I know people have many mixed thoughts, but let's break this down because this is important, guys. We need to know this kind of stuff. All right, so here we go.
What if there were 12 people yelling at you and telling you that you were doing it wrong?
I think a burning structure in a city where there are buildings and homes and people living on either side is much more concerning than 20 people trying to tell me to do something different.
Right. But you wouldn't be distracted by that at all?
No.
What if they started calling you names?
Like I said, I know my job and I would be confident in doing my job, and there's nothing anybody could say that would distract me.
By the way, is this video coming through good? Because now the sound is also playing through, the input is also the output. So hopefully it's coming through okay. But so on this, he asked her, essentially, would this many people yelling at you all at the same time distract you? And her answer was really snarky. She's like, being in a burning building surrounded by neighbors and residential houses and all of that is way more distracting than 20 people yelling at you. You can't try hard not to embellish in court because they can literally use anything against you. So it was almost like instead of just saying yes or no, you know what I mean? Like I see maybe she wanted to explain to him that there are more stress. She could have said, my job contains far more stressful situations. So no, 20 people yelling at me didn't affect me. I've been in far scarier and far worse situations, something like that. But she treated him like he was stupid. Sound is good. Oh, awesome. It's too loud now and distorted. Ugh, I can't win. Well, we'll take it little by little. Mainly if I turn it down just a little bit. Because I literally have no other option at this point. I'm so sorry. So here we go.
So what if they started to physically threaten you?
I'll repeat myself because I'm confident in my job and what I do and what needs to be done and my training. So I would continue to do that.
So I'll repeat myself. Y'all, like, she is so rude. She is incredibly rude. And the thing about it is, it's like you have to control that in court. You're trying to win. So when I was talking a few weeks ago or whenever, and I said that they are not going to win this case by playing up the emotionality, this is what I meant. This is part of what I meant. I don't think I had seen this yet. I don't think she had actually taken the stand yet. But this is essentially what I meant, you guys, that trying to be snarky, trying to be like, snap back, clap back, catch an attitude with the judge, catch an attitude with the attorney. That's a great way to lose your case. The jury sees all of that. The jury sees that. Okay, but let's keep going because it actually gets worse. And like I said, when you say to somebody, like I said, it's the equivalent of saying, what do people say in emails? As previously mentioned, as prior mentioned, or something, I forget now, the phrase escapes me, but it's a very rude way of saying, if you were paying attention, I've actually already said that. Let's keep going.
So let's assume there's a call and the police are on scene at the call, right? And
sorry to interrupt. Are you talking about a medical call? We stage for different things.
Sure. Let's look at it as a medical call.
Okay.
So right there, he's asking a question, and there was a piece in his question that was she needed clarification on. And she just flat out interrupted him. And they do that. They'll flat out interrupt you and go, sorry. Sometimes they'll go, sorry for interrupting. And then they just interject their piece. The appropriate thing to do in that situation is let him finish his question and then say, are you referring to a medical call or I forgot what the other one was, fire call? You let him finish his question, because if he is wrong and if he is making a mistake, you let people hang themselves, which is pretty much what he did to her. He just quietly sat back, all that paper shuffling, rustling of his notes. Honey, I don't think he was looking at anything on those notes. I think he was just giving her time to hang herself, and it worked brilliantly. Yes, as per my previous response, or as per my previous email, yes. There's an arrogant quality, like, you're not a firefighter, you don't know my job. And here's the thing, all of those things might be true, but it is her job to let him hang himself. And it's also her attorney's job to make sure that those facts are known. Like, she shouldn't have to do so much correcting, if that makes sense. Let's continue.
Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that the police had already called for medics?
It would also be reasonable to assume that if the patient was cuffed
I'm going to say objection non.
You see how she was getting ready to go off in an answer that had absolutely nothing to do, and he objected for a non-response or non-answer. Let's see. What did he actually say? I just need you to inch back just a hair, just a little bit.
Assume that if the
already called for medics.
It would also be reasonable to assume that if the patient was cuffed.
I'm going to say objection non-responsive.
Non-responsive is the term that he used. Okay. And when I'm having a conversation, and look at her body language, y'all, it's so hostile. Look at that. But when I'm having a conversation with a narc in real life, my response typically is, that's not what I asked you. Not what I asked you. It's not what I asked. Instead, from now on, I'm going to say objection non-responsive.
Wait for the question and then answer the question.
How embarrassing.
It's a yes or no question, ma'am. Is it reasonable to assume that if a patient is having a medical emergency and the police are present, that they have called for EMS?
Your question is unclear because you don't know my job. So,
wow. She said, your question is unclear because you don't know my job. So, and then she rolled her eyes. And my whole point, guys, and it looks like it's choppy for you guys. Let me take it off share. Oh, no, it's clear now. Okay. My whole thing is this. I see like there's a comment in the chat that says he was leading the witness should have been objected. Yeah, I think you'd be upset too. The whole thing about it is, no matter how upset I am, if the purpose is for us to win, this is not how you act, because it makes her look guilty, but she didn't do anything. That's what's so strange about it to me. Like if you didn't know anything else about what was going on, you would think this woman might be like the suspect in a murder trial or something, from how she's reacting, not from what he's saying to her, from how she's reacting. Like, why are you getting so upset? I don't understand. Like, it is what it is, and it was what it was. You see what I'm saying? So her reaction is strange to me. If I was a juror in this trial somehow, like, I don't know how they found a jury of people who haven't like been exposed to all of this. But anyway, if I was a juror, I would just be sitting having a normal day. And then her whole demeanor would send up a red flag in me. Like, why is she acting like this? Like, why is it's not like his mom or his cousin or something testifying to the impact of what has had on them. Like, the response seems disproportionate to the relationship. Let's keep going.
Can't answer.
Sure. So let's take this scene, right? May 25th, 2020, you walk upon a scene, you see someone having a medical emergency, right? You did not call 911 to get the medics there, right?
Right.
Would it have been reasonable to assume that medics had already been called based on what you saw when you first arrived?
Yes.
So if you first walked on scene at 8:26:29, that was what we just saw.
Yeah.
26:29.
Okay.
And paramedics had been called at 8:21. That's an abnormal response time based on your experience.
What time did you say I arrived?
8:26:29.
And the medics arrived at what time?
The medics were called at 8:21. Code 3.
I don't believe that.
Okay, so let's talk about that part. And it looks like it's chopping. Let me see. Let me do this. I want to minimize you. See if that helps. Oh, that looks so much better. Okay, so here's what I found bizarre about this part. Like this whole exchange is very strange to me, you guys. You would really have to see the whole 30-minute clip. I really just picked out the parts that really made me scratch my head or gave me like serious pause, but he quoted something directly to her, which I assume is part of all the trial evidence, right? Like part of court is you don't go to court and lie. You're not supposed to anyway, right? So with all of these people, him, her attorney, attorneys for the state, attorneys for the victim, the judge, having access to all of this information, why would he sit up there? Why would he just lie about the time that she arrived on the scene? It's not that I'm saying that she's wrong. What I'm saying is, first of all, this is how narcissists act when confronted. They don't let you finish your sentence. They cut you off. And then when they get told, please let me finish, they catch an attitude. So what I'm saying is, guys, even if she's right, she's not making her case. She's acting like a narcissist. That's what I'm trying to tell you. She's acting like a narc on the stand. She's acting like she runs the court, like she runs the judge. Y'all don't see a problem with that? To where even if she's right and 100% in the right, they're not going to win if they keep this up. You don't run the court. Like if you want people to side with you, you don't get on the stand and interrupt the attorney, finish his sentences, cut him off. Then when the judge goes to chastise you, she cut the judge off like 2 or 3 times, you guys. All right. Okay. Like, I don't know why this is not sinking in. Like, y'all don't see this. And it worries me because I'm like, if things don't go how everyone is wanting them to go, like, it's not going to be good, I don't think, for our society. So don't you want to win? Well, if you want to win, you can't do this. It doesn't matter how right you are. That's not how court works. Yeah, it says she's acting like she doesn't have to answer to anyone. Anyone. Let's keep going.
But again, you have no frame of reference, right? I mean, you've not seen any police reports. You've not looked at the CADs.
She's acting. Think back to high school when, like, I don't know, a group of you and your friends might be standing around and there's like some inside drama going on. And so the subject of drama or subjects of drama come over and they start talking to the other subjects of drama. And like, as the person is responding, they're making faces, but they're making little faces really for their friends in the back. It's not for the person they're talking to. They're little micro expressions like for their friends to pick up on and be like, you know what I mean? Like she's acting like a teenage girl on the stand. I'm serious, you guys. Like, I know you don't want to hear this. And again, just to reiterate, I'm on your side. I want to see justice. I do. But I think they have approached this entire trial wrong. I really do. They've taken up the wrong angle on it. And I think this was part of that angle, like, yeah, go up there and, be real sassy and don't give them any, slack. And it backfired. She got in trouble with the judge. Let's keep looking.
Heard the 911 calls. You didn't listen to dispatch that night, did you?
That night? No, not that night.
Okay.
But that's totally abnormal.
All right.
And fire would have been added to that call because we go to calls like that all the time.
Right. And I believe you had a conversation with the BCA agents shortly after this incident, and you described what you observed as far as the paramedics doing was what's called a load and go, right?
Correct.
And that is essentially, as I understand it, paramedics arrive. Something is amiss at the scene,
Mm-hmm.
so we put them into the ambulance and we move the ambulance to another
A safe location to address the need.
Now, here's why this is bad in court. He said, and you move the ambulance to, and he said to another, she goes, safe location to address additional needs. Here's the issue with that. If I was her attorney, I'd be like, pause. Can I have a brief recess with my client, please? Girl, shut up. Shut up. You don't know if that's where he was going. You don't know if that's what he was going to say. If he doesn't know what he's talking about, we would never know that because you keep completing his sentences for him. You're volunteering information that nobody asked you. Determined to assert your dominance in this situation. You're not dominant in this situation. Right. It says she's talking to a lawyer in court, not her girlfriend. Exactly. It's like nobody coached her for this. I wonder if she has an attorney. But you don't ever do that in court. You let them lead themselves to where they want to go, and then you correct on the back end. But if they're starting to lead themselves, to an incorrect conclusion, let the jury see that and then correct them. But you don't just go putting words in his mouth. He kept his cool, though. Very interesting.
And so, in your mind, as a paramedic with the experience that you have, as an EMT, I apologize, but as an EMT, you've done load and goes before?
We've done load and goes, yeah.
Right. And
as far as her correcting him on the EMT thing, yes, everything needs to be correct for court. But what's irritating about that is it's like the narcissist can never just let you even figure out that you made a mistake. You know what I mean? I misspeak quite often when I'm doing videos, live streams, things like that. And sometimes it takes me a second to hear it, for my brain to hear it and go fix it. Have you guys ever had the experience of talking to somebody and you're trying to tell a story and you don't have maybe necessarily 100% clarity, but you're trying to get there, and every other sentence, they're correcting your words and your thoughts. Every other sentence. It's like, okay, yeah, so remember in 2019 when we went to Hawaii? 2017. Yeah, 2017 when we went to Hawaii. And remember Brad and his wife were there, and Shelly and her husband, Susan. Oh, right. Susan and her husband were there. And it's like you're trying to get it out and they just won't let you. Like, it's like that. It's like they love to like chop you up to the point where sometimes they'll just take over the whole story and start telling it themselves. I've seen that happen too. But it's an impatience. You're not even worth letting you complete your whole thought. That's how beneath me you are. Okay, let's go.
The reason that the medics did not commence, at least as far as you understood, commence resuscitative efforts for Mr. Floyd was because they were doing a load and go, get him away. Okay. Your, again, personal experience, on that day, the paramedics drove off, and then at some other point, a couple minutes later is when the fire truck arrives, right?
Right, and that's how I knew there was something wrong when requesting medical assistance.
Okay, because the parent or the fire department showed up at Cup Foods and the ambulance had already left and gone to another location.
No, more because the fire, whether it's 17s or a different station, would have been able to respond to that call much sooner than medics were.
All right. Now I'm going to just kind of talk to you a little bit about your testimony about May 25th of 2020. You were out for a walk because it was your day off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Sorry. You're out for
Oh boy, he's good, man. Listen, I know we're not on his side, but he's good. He's very good at what he does. Very good. Because he sees all these like slights being hurled at him and like the rudeness and the interruptions, but he literally did not let that deter him at all. And then first of all, and this just might be how I was raised as a Southerner, but to say, yeah, mm-hmm, yeah, uh-huh, like that, we didn't do that in professional settings, that is. It was yes, no, or yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, period. So to be in a professional setting of this nature and he's asking you questions and yeah, like, I hope I don't set her off, but Siri does this. I'll be like, I'm going to set her off. I'll be like, hey, and she'll go, mm-hmm. I'm like, I need you to be a little bit more polite. Like Siri was busy and I was disturbing her. Hey, she'll go, instead of yes or hey, how can I help? Or sometimes she'll go, like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I bother you? Did I disturb you, Siri? Anyway, my point is it's a very casual address. And for her to have the type of job that she has and to be in the situation she's currently in, you think she would be showing a little bit more respect is what I'm trying to say. Now, some of you may argue she doesn't have to show respect. She watched them kill a man. Yeah, and that's why we're here now sorting it out. This is the opportunity to prove that and show that in such a way where you win your case. This is not an opportunity to display how upset you are and attitudinal and how you don't kind of want to be there. Yeah. And he said, is that a yes? And he goes, oh, okay, sorry. As if he's disturbing her. You see what I mean? Like, so sorry to clear that up. I'm going to show you again. It's so slight. He's good, y'all.
Your testimony about May 25th of 2020. You were out for a walk because it was your day off, right? Mm-hmm. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Sorry. You're out for a walk and you're walking you're walking westbound on 38th Street and you see the lights and you said it's not uncommon to see lights there.
In my neighborhood, not on my corner, but in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Or in the city.
Right. Okay. Would you describe other people's demeanors as upset or angry?
I don't know if you've seen anybody be killed, but it's upsetting.
The answer is
yes. I was just going to object, Your Honor.
as argumentative, and you proceed.
I'm going to.
So the term that the judge used was argumentative, and that's exactly what she's being, you guys. Argumentative, hostile, angry, like they had some sort of conversation before this all happened. And it's not helping. I hope you guys don't think this is helping the case. It's not. I need to go watch the second one. She came back the next day at 9:30, and I wonder if her attorney got her attitude adjusted. Like, sweetie, you need to calm down and chill. You're being argumentative, rude. You're cutting off the attorney and back talking the judge. Like, I'm actually surprised he did not hold her in contempt of court. I'm really, really, really surprised that he didn't hold her in contempt because she was being contemptuous. She really was. She had a lot of contempt. Let's go.
Ask you to answer my questions as I ask them to you, okay? You also talked about how when you first approached, you saw the complete and total body weight of all three officers on Mr. Ford.
I never said all three officers. Their body weight was on him. The two in the back, their full body weight was seeming to be on him, but that's not something that would kill.
All right.
Now, here's an example of why it's so important to shut up when you're in court and only answer questions that you are asked. So first of all, she didn't even let him finish his sentence, because understand that part of what her attorney's job is to do is to blow holes in his case. So if she indeed never said three officers, that's what her attorney's job is, to stand up and say, sir, when you were examining my client, you stated that she said three. And as a matter of fact, she never said that. As a matter of fact, this is what she said. Like she's trying to act like her own attorney right now. But more than that, she volunteered information that could hurt the case. She said that I never said three, let's just rewatch. Let me not put words in her mouth. Let's just rewatch.
Total body weight of all three officers on Mr. Ford.
I never said all three officers. Their body weight was on him. The two in the back, their full body weight was seeming to be on him, but that's not something that would kill.
All right.
She said their full body weight was seeming to be on him, but that's not something that would kill. Now, see, he didn't ask you that. He didn't ask you any of that. He actually never even got a chance to finish his question. You got to learn to shut up sometimes. She's so determined to be spody-ody-ody that she might have really damaged this case, you guys. I'm so serious. And again, I'm not calling this woman a narcissist. I don't know enough about her to make that call. All I'm saying is this is how narcissists act. Because again, he's not cutting her off. He's not interrupting her. He's letting her finish her thoughts. And he waits patiently for her to finish her thoughts before he starts his next one. He's not violating the laws of conversation, you guys. Okay?
But you testified that
Okay, yes.
body weight.
Yes, their body weight, yes.
Was on.
Wow.
Answer his questions, okay?
So that was the first time the judge got on to her. And he still really didn't get his question out. But here's the thing about it, though. He doesn't look flustered to me. He might look flustered to some of you. But he inside, in his mind, he's like, oh, this is perfect. Oh, this is good. Oh, she interrupted me again. Perfect. Like she's losing. If his strategy was stay calm and let her lose it, that strategy worked. And that's the same strategy I'm always recommending to you guys when dealing with narcissists. Stay calm, repeat yourself calmly, quietly, hold them accountable. Say, that's not what I said. That's not what I asked you. That's not the question that I asked you. It's not what we're talking about. That's a different subject. And they tend to lose it just like this, you guys. Okay? Let's go.
Just to be clear, for the record is clear. You testified.
Yes.
Let me finish my question.
Like, that's really sad that he finally had to basically discipline her a little bit on the stand. Like, this whole interaction is so strange to me, y'all.
Clear, for the record is clear. You testified.
Yes.
Let me finish my question.
Finish your question.
You testified.
Do you see how she's like trying to run the court? He said, let me finish my question. She said, finish your question. As if she's the grantor of the right to speak and win. Guys, this is how narcissists act. This is how they behave. There have been times in my past where I've had to say to somebody who I believe or suspected was a narc, can you please let me finish my thought? And they would say, go ahead and finish your thought, as if they were giving me permission to finish my thought. Like, oh, thank you so much for letting me finish my thought. You are so gracious and merciful and kind. Thank you so much for letting me finish my thought. Thank you. Like, what a gift, you know?
That when you first arrived, you observed the weight of all three officers on Mr. Floyd. Yes or no?
Yes.
Now, in terms of your the statement that you gave, you were interviewed by Agents Matthew Lund, and Agent James Ryerson. Do you recall those names? Do you dispute me if I'm telling you? Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to review the transcript of your statement?
I don't want to.
Okay.
So, guys, I feel so weird about this man. I don't like this. Like, I have such weird feelings about this whole case, and I can't really express them for real, but I don't like this. This whole thing feels weird to me because he said, would you like to review the transcript of your statement? And she didn't say yes or no. She said, I don't want to. Well, why not? It's your statement. Like, or she could have just said, I've reviewed it, or no, thank you. I remember it. You know, I remember what I said, or it was just almost so bizarre. Like she did not want to see what she said in writing in front of her. And doesn't that always go to what I also always tell you guys? That writing, those notes, taking these words down, putting them in front of them, like it really changes the whole game. It changes the whole everything. And that's why I said, I just feel so weird about this, y'all. I don't like this. Something is off. Something is off. Like from the side that is trying to convict or prosecute Chauvin, it's almost like they don't believe their own case. It's like they don't believe it, y'all. Like let's keep going.
Would you dispute me if I told you that you told the agents it was a heavy crowd?
No, I guess not.
Could you describe Mr. Floyd as a small, slim man?
Overall,
Yeah, it appeared to, with three grown men on top of somebody, it appeared that he was small and frail.
Okay.
But I know that's not to be
There's
true,
no question.
Just volunteering more information. And you see, even the attorney had to say, there's no question. Like, stop. Like, just like, stop. Like, seriously, stop. You know what I mean? Now, if she had more to say, what you say is, may I complete my thought, or may I finish that answer? May I add to that answer? Like, she should be asking permission from them. That's how the court system works, you guys. And again, I just have to keep reiterating, I'm on your side. I want justice. I want to see something take place. I really do. But we're not going to win like this.
I was finishing my answer.
Please, court counsel remain. Witness remain. We're outside the hearing of the jury, Ms. Hanson. I'm advising you. Do not.
Hold on. Before we listen to the judge chastise her, is that the significance of that statement? Oh, that might reframe everything. See, I didn't understand. So the comment in the chat says George Floyd was big and robust, not small and frail. So is that what he's trying to nail her on? See, because to me, I guess everyone has a different perception of big and small, but I don't know. Is that what it was, though? Is that the significance of all that? The small, frail thing? At any rate, let's look at this judge basically get on to her for her behavior.
Court counsel remain. Witness remain. We're outside the hearing of the jury, Ms. Hanson. I'm advising you, do not argue with counsel, and specifically, do not argue with the court.
Is the camera off? Are the cameras on?
No, they're not. We are on the record.
Okay.
She interrupts the judge to ask the judge if the cameras are on. And look at the attorney for Derek Chauvin and Chauvin's face. Both of them are looking like, what? What? First of all, the fact that she felt confident and comfortable enough to interrupt the judge, like she has never been there before. I guess maybe this is her first time ever having to go to anything court related. But what a strange question to ask the judge. Are the cameras on? And then he said, what? And she goes, are the cameras still on? He said, no, we're on the record. I think he said on the record or off the record. He might have said off. But at any rate, what does that matter? Do you see what I mean? Like, is she more concerned with like people seeing her get in trouble with the judge? Is she more concerned with knowing like, y'all, I'm bothered. Are the cameras still on? Like, imagine being in an international court trial that just went to like a brief recess. The judge goes to get your attention to talk to you about something. And you turn to the judge starts talking to you, and you're so accustomed to interrupting people in your life. And you are so accustomed to speaking when you feel like speaking that you interrupt the judge. And not only did you interrupt the judge, you interrupted the judge to ask him, are the cameras still on? Like, if that is not the most bizarre thing, you guys, like, if that doesn't strike you as odd and weird, and even her whole demeanor is odd and weird, like something is not right. Okay. But anyway, I'll have to meditate on that whole cameras thing. Are the cameras still on? Look at their face. They're like, what? I want you to see it, because their eyebrows actually change. They go from normal to what? Because it's weird. It's such a weird thing to say. Back it up just a little bit. Here we go. Okay.
Witness remain. We're outside the hearing of the jury, Ms. Hanson. I'm advising you, do not argue with counsel, and specifically, do not argue with the court.
Is the camera off? Are the cameras on?
No, they're not. We are on the record.
Okay.
You will not argue with the court. You will not argue with counsel. Mm-hmm. They have the right to ask questions. Your job is to answer them.
I was finishing my answer.
Still arguing.
I will determine when your answer is done.
Okay, well.
And so, do not argue with the court. Do not argue with counsel. Answer the questions. Do not volunteer information that is not requested. The attorneys for the state have redirect. They can ask you questions if they think that certain things were left out.
Okay.
It is counsel's prerogative to ask you leading questions and for you to answer those and not volunteer additional information. Okay. Are we clear on this?
Okay.
Thank you. Come back tomorrow at 9:30.
All right.
Sorry for the choppiness of video, guys. It's just a whole tech saga over here. But anyway, yeah, I saw a comment that said her buddies are watching. She's acting like her buddies are watching. And like she and her friends are going to sit around and watch it later going, oh, damn, this video. Choppiness. Oh, and I'm outside of my return window. I can't take this computer back. I'll just leave it there. But it's almost like her friends are indeed sitting around at home like, oh, she got him. And it's like, nah, she might have just thrown the whole trial and the whole case. Like that testimony right there, it's not coming from a place of hurt and compassion for watching another person die. It's almost like I'm going to take you down. I run this show. This is my courtroom. I'll speak when I feel like speaking. And when the judge was getting onto her, he looked like a dad getting onto his teenage daughter. Look when he put his arm. See when he got his arm? Of course, the video is choppy. You can't really see it. Wow, now it's drawing doodles. That's different. Okay, there we go. He's got his arm on his chair like a father looks at his little girl. Like, who are you talking to, little girl? Right. Where was the yes, your honor? Okay. So here's the whole point in summary of all this. And I hate that the tech messed up so bad because I feel like it took away from an overall point. So we might have to do something like this again. I'm not going to do an after show because it's super late, at least here on the East Coast. So I'm just going to wrap up with this, y'all. Again, I'm not trying to say this woman is a narcissist. However, she did behave like one on stand. And that behavior is really all that we were isolating this evening. That behavior is such that there's a lot of bravado there, or a lot of machismo, even though she's a female, very macho. I run the show. I tell you when to speak. I'll finish your sentences for you. I'll answer questions that you didn't ask. I'll get sassy with the judge even. I'll give non-answers to questions. Like, that is not someone who's acting like they want to win the case or that they even understand the magnitude of what's going on. But anyway, that's how narcs are. And the more she got chastised for how she was behaving, the more flippant she became. Her attitude was very flippant. Okay? So that's what they do, and that's how they behave and act, you guys. And then those who were on before my microphone just died. The Tucker Carlson clip, same thing. Like, he runs the show. He's determined to have the last word. He's determined that your voice doesn't matter. And when his guest kept talking, Juan Williams, he literally like cracked, like his mind cracked. Like, I can't believe you're still talking. And I basically told you to shut up. So this is how they are. And I just wanted you guys to see it play out in really two totally different scenarios. But you'll see this a lot. And you also saw a lot of the techniques being used dealing with that, which is you stay calm. Notice the attorney stayed calm. No, I'm not on his side. We're talking behaviors. He stayed calm. He didn't catch an attitude back with her, as he very easily could have. He let her hang herself on more than one occasion. He eventually had to say to her, let me finish my question, which her response to that was, finish your question. As if she's the one giving the permission around here. Do you see? So narcs have it all messed up in terms of they never really seem to know where they are. Wherever they are is where their kingdom is, basically. So if they happen to be in a court, their kingdom is now in a court. If they happen to be, in a library, well, their kingdom is now the library. Their kingdom becomes wherever they are, and that includes ordering whoever's in it around, including a judge. Like, I can't get over that. Yeah, it must be. It says working with someone like her must be a nightmare. Can you imagine? And it makes me worried from a perspective of, if she's a firefighter and she feels like she doesn't really have to listen to anybody or give an explanation to anybody, then what happens when she shows up on the scene with all this know-it-all attitude? And people are saying, don't go up the front steps, go up the back steps. The front steps are compromised. And she says something like, I've been to this building 1,000,000 times. They set it on fire on accident like every other year. It's fine. And they're like, lady, don't go up the front, go up the back. The front is compromised. And she's like, I've been a firefighter and I've had my training and I know more than you do. And I've been on this job longer than you. I'm going up the front steps. Then she goes up the front steps and they collapse on her. That's typically what happens to this type of person. They can't be told anything. They can't be negotiated with, rationalized with. Trust me, she didn't learn anything from this. I guarantee she probably went back the next day and did the same thing, unless her attorney had a good, strong talking to with her. Okay. But y'all, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to, unfortunately, the show didn't go quite as I had planned it due to some tech issues, one of which is just so tragic because it was supposed to solve a problem and it looks like it's creating more problems than it's solving. but that's all right. And my mic is officially dead now. So got to get a new mic at some point. So I may not do another show until I can get my hands on another microphone because I'm just weird like that. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. But anyway, you night owls, thanks for staying up late with me. I'm going to go ahead and close out. And I look forward to reading your live chat comments and hearing your discussion or seeing your discussion and reading the discussion in the comments after the show uploads. All right. Take care, everybody. We'll all be keeping an eye on this, but just pray. If you're a praying person, pray. That's all I can tell you. Take care. Have a good evening. Bye.